Hello everyone, CM here. I'm here to make another Mutant Rivalry or another Mutant Rivalry video or MR for short. And today, as you can see, we have a rivalry between the Guardian of Nebraska, aka Victor Krueger, or aka the Smiling Grim, versus the Guardian of Nevada, or aka Claire Widow, or aka the Wildcat, alright? As you can see, this is going to be a mutant rivalry between nihilism versus optimism, okay? This is going to be an epic rivalry between the two, alright? I can't wait to show you this epic rivalry, alright? Now, before we get started, don't forget to like and share, comment, subscribe to the video. Follow me on my Twitter account at OnCinema899, alright? Don't forget to follow me there, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Now, as I'm about to get started, I'm about to be transitioning in 3, 2, ooh. Alright, transition is over. As you can see, we have nihilism versus optimism. You have Victor Krueger, who represents nihilism, versus Claire Widow, who represents optimism. Now you have Victor Krueger, who believes in the power of nihilism, as in right here, as we should strive for nihilism, as in the more nihilistic we are, will allow us to face the dark truth of this world. Then you have Claire Widow, who believes in optimism, as in, we should strive for optimism, as in the more optimistic we are, will give us a very wonderful and bright future ahead. Alright? Then you have Victor Krueger, who believes in despair, as in, there is no reason to believe in hope. As in, hope is nothing more than a delusion for those who want to live in a childish fairy tale. Then you have Claire Widow, who believes in the power of hope. Alright, as in, there is no reason to fall into despair, as in, what's the point of believing in despair when there's a very bright future around the corner? Then right here, you have Victor Krueger, who believes in maturity, as in we should be more mature in life, as in maturity will allow us to be more reasonable and will prevent you from believing in fairy tales. Then you have Claire Widow, who represents immaturity, as in we should be more immature in life, as in we should act however we want, especially if it means we can strive for a change in order to reach the future. Okay? So obviously these two do not like each other. Although these two don't really like one another, there is in fact some similarities between the two. As in, these two individuals are very unique, powerful individuals who both came from really well-known broken families. Rather be Victor Krueger, who came from a criminal family that was very broken. Rather be Claire Widow, who came from a well-known rich family that's also very broken. Okay, as you can see, this is a battle between nihilism versus optimism. You have Victor Krueger, who represents nihilism, despair, maturity. Then you have Claire Widow, who represents optimism, hope, and immaturity. Alright, this is an epic battle between nihilism versus optimism. You have Claire Widow, who represents that innocent child, who wants to believe in big dreams and change the world one day. Right? Meanwhile, you have Victor Krueger, who represents nihilism, who represents that adult who sees the dark truth in life, the more mature adult who actually says that there's no hope in life, He represents the black ink of despair, alright? Or if you want to put it simply, you have Claire Widow, who represents that child who wants to change the world, versus Victor Krueger, who represents that monster that hides underneath the bed. Okay? Now, I'm going to be moving on again because there are some more things we have to get to. Alright? As in, I'm going to be going into further details about the movements. About two well-known movements in this fictional series. Okay? So let's get started. And I'm going to be transitioning in 3, 2... Alright. Transition is over. As you can see right here, we have a movement called the New Hope movement. Okay? Now, as you can see right here, the hand right here represents someone praying for a better future, and the cross represents that future, us reaching towards that future. Matter of fact, you might be wondering, why does the New Hope movement in this series exist? Well, I'm going to tell you why this movement exists, as in right here. This movement was founded April 10th, 1980. This is the NHM, or aka the New Hope movement, a movement founded by two very powerful rich billionaire brothers known as Tim Widow and Samuel Widow, or aka the Widow brothers, who are also the founder of Widowland and they're also the great grandfather of the Guardian of Nevada, Clara Widow. All right, as in right here, the Widow brothers, who both came up with the idea of the NHM, and the NHM's whole goal is this. The NHM, or aka the New Hope movement, is a very positive but influential movement that's whole goal is to fight off nihilism and get people to accept that there is a very bright future ahead. Okay? Now, in order to join this movement, according to this organization, to this movement, there are three principles in joining this movement, as in right here, the three principles of optimism, as in right here. You must be full of positivity and look towards a very bright future ahead. That's first principle. Second principle, admit that change is possible and hope can be reached as long as you're willing to work hard for it. Alright, then third principle, get rid of any negative emotions and embrace having a wonderful imagination. As in wanting to have an imagination, a vision for the future, a vision where maybe you and your family could live in a much happier and brightful future together. Okay? That is what that principle means. Okay? Now, I'm going to be getting into the second movement that's basically the rival and the exact opposite of this movement, the New Hope movement, okay? And I'm going to be transitioning again in 3, 2, 1. Alright, transition is over, as you can see right here. This is the exact opposite of the New Hope movement. This is the Great Despair movement. The Great Despair. Alright, as you can see, the symbol for this movement is a pretty dark symbol. Alright, just letting you guys know. As you can see, it's a symbol of a hanging man. Alright, the hanging man represents the death of the imagination, and the white pale skin represents the cold, dark truth of reality. You know, the cold, dark truth. As in right here, this is why this movement was founded. It says right here, August 30th, 1979. This is the GDM, or aka the Great Despair movement, a movement founded by a man named Johnny Hellbent, who came up with the idea of the GDM. And the Great Despair movement's whole goal is this. The Great Despair movement is a very popular but influential movement that's whole goal is to kill off the childish imagination and get people to accept the very dark but grim world we live in. Okay? Alright? As in, this is a movement that worships nihilism. It's the exact opposite of optimism. Okay? Now, there are three principles in there are three principles, kind of like how in the New Hope movement, but this is the Great Despair's three principles. As in right here, the three principles of nihilism. You must accept the fact that there is no hope, nor a bright future. That's first principle. It says right here, number 2, admit that the fact of the world is a very grim, but dark and cruel world, filled with terrible and horrible people who only care about themselves and no one else. Alright, and then here's third principle. Get rid of any silly, childish imaginations in order to live in the real world. Alright, as basically this movement seeks to get rid of imagination, thinking that imagination basically holds mankind back. You know, like having optimism, believing that's just a childish, nothing more than a childish delusion. Okay? As you can see, these two movements, hold on, I'm going to be transitioning in 3, 2, 1. Alright, transition over. Sorry for that transition. But as you can see, these two movements are directly the opposites of one another, and these two movements basically oppose one another. They're basically rivals. As you got one who wants people to only look at the more positive things in life, while you got the other one who wants people to only look at the negative things in life. They're basically the direct opposites. Alright? Both these movements oppose one another. They don't like one another. They think one holds mankind back. Okay, so my last question is this to you guys in the audience. What do you hope for? Do you pray for a better future? Or do you pray for nothing? Okay? So that's my last thing I'll ask you guys, and I'm going to be transitioning again in 3, 2. Alright guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and share, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to follow me on my Twitter account at oddcinema899. Thank you guys so much for watching, and also don't get ready, because I'm going to be doing the Guardian of Alaska. I can't wait to show you that character. I know you guys will like that character. Now, don't forget to like and share, comment, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. And, yeah, have a wonderful day, and may God bless.